Hi everyone. Good morning.
Yes.
Bala is with us. Bala is from PRM 27, and he is a consultant. He's at Insurtech, and he has about 15 plus years of experience in various facets of insurance, which is new product development, innovation, system, product launch, sales, marketing, whatever you say in the insurance domain. And he's an expert in rural market business development as well. And today's session is specifically focused on some very difficult or challenging aspect of insurance, which is cattle insurance. And then we can discuss other aspects also, but primarily we wanted to discuss cattle insurance today, how it works and whether it is actually happening in the country and what are the benefits, and then we'll discuss all the questions we have. So Bala, welcome, and welcome everyone. I would also like to check with you all if there is anybody who is not an IRMAn here in this call. Maybe you can just quickly introduce yourself, because we all know each other, most of us. So anybody who's a non-IRMAN, please introduce yourself. All right. Right now, I don't think anybody is. So Bala, over to you. Please tell us a little more about how this cattle insurance works.
Okay. Thanks, Ruchi. Meanwhile, Sanjeev Jain, can you please mute, because there's a bit of disturbance coming from your end.
I will mute. You tell me.
Okay, great. Thanks. So yeah, very good morning, everyone. A lot of faces I know, very familiar faces here in the call. So I first thought that it is not going to be a one-way communication from my end, because I'm just sharing few thoughts, few experiences that I had on this topic. So it just emerged as a normal chat in our group when Richie asked few doubts regarding cattle insurance. That is where a lot of other people also came into the forum saying like, okay, we also want to know. That is when it got this shape of getting into a online call. Otherwise, I guess it was just going to be a one-on-one call with me, Richie reaching out to me and I giving whatever I could give. So yeah, that's how this entire episode shaped up. But yeah, I'm quite happy to share whatever little I know about cattle insurance. I've been doing this for last 15 years. Basically a dairy technologist. Before IRMA, I did my BTech in dairy science and technology. So I have got a pyar mohabbat hai. So that is there with me for quite some time. Yeah, after IRMA, I will just give a background about my work, what I have done. Then we'll get into the livestock cattle insurance space as such. So after IRMA, I joined ICC Lombard. I have been working in the rural and agri insurance space only. I have not diverted from that. Then I have worked with HDFC Ergo for 12 years in the rural and agri business department. Then the last 3 years, I was with SBI General Insurance. I set up their rural and micro insurance channel. So these are all the few experience that I have in terms of working. And I have worked with almost, I would say, all intermediaries that we could get in rural market. So it's not just PM of PY. So I stopped doing PM of PY in 2017. So from last 6 years, I'm out of crop. I'm doing something which is non-crop. So both my organization wanted to develop a rural channel which could cater to the last mile for other product propositions other than crop. That is where we started doing all different products through all different channel partners. I worked with microfinance institutions, cooperative societies, cooperative banks, rural BCs, CSC agents, microinsurance agents, self-help groups, FPOs, everything I could explore. I have at least tried to do something or the other. Cattle insurance is something that we have. It's an integral part of rural business, because wherever we do an integration with any channel partner, may it be a bank, may it be an MFI, or may it be a dairy cooperative, because cattle rearing or livestock is an secondary allied activity, as we all know. In India, agriculture is the primary activity and livestock is the secondary activity, which gives the maximum financial income or agricultural income to the farmers. And we have the largest livestock population in the world. We are the largest milk producer in the world, but still, when it comes to livestock insurance, we hardly have less than 1% of the animals getting insured. So that is a huge opportunity for the entire market to have a look at it. But why it was not, it is such a low, or why it was not tapped, I guess I am not the right person. I can just give you few challenges that we all face as an insurer, and maybe we all can sit together and then design or discuss how we can actually address this challenge as such, because there is a huge opportunity available. And why, when it comes to the kind of channel partners that we do or that we cater to when it comes to cattle insurance, predominantly are bank assurance channel partners, because in all the private sector players, I would say it's right now predominantly banca driven, because they normally don't get into other than banca kind of a cattle insurance portfolio, because it is loss making for all of them, most of them, I would say. So whenever the radar goes above 100% LR, the underwriters will come back and ask them to stop, because I don't think nobody is actually doing it in a very, very systematic manner. It's just for certain channel obligations that they get into cattle insurance, and they oblige to the request of the channel partner. For example, anybody getting into a bank partnership, and the bank says that I have a X portfolio which is under a livestock loan, I need to have a cattle insurance product. Then, yeah, the insurance company says that, okay, let me do it. We have done it before, but our experiences were bad. We not into, and we'll do it for 2 years, 3 years. Then the LR goes up, because actually nobody is actually getting into the root problem of why the LR is going up. So we'll come to that. That is what is happening right now. And when it comes to public sector players, they mostly get into the schemes. They are the ones who run the state government schemes or the livestock development schemes that is running at multiple states. And their modus operation is entirely different. I have seen companies operating wherein they are just distributing the tax to the government veterinarians, and they are the ones who actually does this enrollment program of the farmers, because it's a subsidized scheme. So it's all in the hands of the vet who is that who does the enrollment. He is the one who is getting the documentation done, submitting to the insurance company for the entire scheme as such. So it's very loosely controlled there as well. And other than banca, when it comes to private sector, hardly any other business happens right now. Few insurance companies does business in Gujarat, which is one of the primary market for all of us in terms of the cattle insurance market. If you see the insurance sector, Gujarat still is the primary market, and Gujarat is the market which gives the largest loss ratio as well. But still, people get into there to do at least the top line business. Okay, if you need to X premium, then at least that is one market where you can just go and get the business. But the market is matured in a very, I would say, it's a highly matured market where people are aware that there is an excess of paravets and vets that are running. So I guess there are a lot of challenges when, as a insurance company, when we look into it, there are a lot of things that we need to actually plug the gaps with. So that, and when it comes to brokers, again, brokers are the ones who, there are a few brokers who have now emerged who handles the state government schemes now. So they do the all the kind of lobbying with the state governments, and they ensure that the scheme will be implemented through them. And again, for them also, it's all about maximum premium being underwritten, not looking at it to the I would say the loss ratio aspect, because nobody is looking at a long-term perspective. It's in the next 2 years, how much money I can earn from the commissions, because they also need to pay the internal payments, the under the table payments also needs to be done. So everybody looks at maximum enrollments, and that is where the entire root cause of cattle insurance lies in, because unlike any other risk, cattle is a specific risk which has to be, I would say, identified. Number one, before onboarding, we'll have to identify animal, because the animal looks same. All the buffaloes, all the cows more or less looks similar. They don't have a separate registration like our vehicle registration or anything. So for identification purpose, we'll have to either tag the animal, or we'll have to actually verify the health certificate of the animal before onboarding. And in all these processes, whatever I said till now, nobody actually looks into the actual health of the animal. Everybody is looking at maximum enrollments. So whatever comes into his plate, he will just tag and he'll move ahead. Just for the namesake, he might reject 1 or 2. But ultimately, as per my little experience in cattle insurance, if we have to control the loss ratio, it is all about controlling the loss ratio at the time of onboarding. So if you are onboarding an unhealthy animal, then there is no point you are already underwritten a bad risk. So if you have to sustain that business, it's all about identifying the right risk to onboard. And that is where we all are collectively failing as of now, because none of the insurance company has the capacity, or it's humanly also not possible to have that many people on ground to do the verification for them. So we'll depend upon outside vendors or vets or paravets who are working in those areas to do this identification and tagging for us, and we solely depend upon them. And for them, it is all about per tagging rate is what they get. Per tagging, if they do one animal tagging, they get 200 rupees. So the vet also doesn't go to the field. Actual reality is that the vet doesn't go to the field. He has his own down the line agents, paravets, who are just maybe experienced guys by seeing animals. They do some local treatment for the animals and all. So they know animals, they know cattle, and they are the ones who actually does the tagging. And if the veterinary is charging 200 rupees from the insurer, he ultimately gives maybe 150 or 125 rupees to the paravet. Rest the vet takes. And so for the paravet, it is all about, आज मेरे को 30 tagging करना है, तब मेरे को 3000 रुपए मिलेगा. So he is also running behind that target. वो दिन पर अगर उसका 20 के नीचे tagging हो गया, तो then he feels like अरे यार आज का दिन तो खराब हो गया. So he is also running behind the entire target of doing at least 30 tagging a day. And there also it's all about जो भी आ रहा है, he keeps on tagging. That's it. We even kept in SBI. मैंने ये सोच के थोड़ा उसको incentivize करने के लिए ये भी किया था कि भैया तुम reject करो. Reject करने के लिए भी मैं तुम्हें 200 रुपए देता हूँ. Because that is also a good point wherein we are trying to block unhealthy animals coming in, and he should actually reject unhealthy animals and he should be incentivized to do that. But ये लोगों का वो जो change लेके आना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. These guys are tuned to the fact that कि भाई आज मेरे को 30 tagging करना ही करना है. That is how that entire onboarding goes on, and that is where as my understanding and my experience, मेरे को लग रहा है that is the biggest problem of this entire sector. And this product can be made profitable provided we can plug this important gap wherein we will onboard only healthy animals, but it is not an easy job, and that is where the scalability is also affected. So this is one product which cannot be scaled up to that kind of a large volumes because of this fact, because we have to go to each and every animal, inspect the animal, usko tag karo, uska photo lo, uska health certificate release karo. How humanly it is possible to do all these activities and ensure that all these 30 crores of livestock that we have gets insured. So we'll have to find out a way out to do these things. Even if I talk about technology, वो भी तो हम बहुत सारे चीज करके देखे हैं, but ये scalability लेके आना इसमें, unless otherwise we find some mechanism wherein this tagging भी निकल जाए और identification भी system कर ले, ऐसा कुछ technology we'll have to design. Otherwise, if you depend upon somebody to go to each and every animal, see the animal, tag the animal, take the photo, then the scalability point will not come in beyond a limit, because there is a limit for everybody to do this activity. And India में ऐसा है कि हर घर में 10-10, 5-5 गाय भैंस तो है ही. So the population is too high. So we'll have to come up with certain mechanisms through which we can bring in that scalability. And talking about technology and why this loss ratios are high, another aspect. Yeah, Ruchi, yes.
Yeah, so maybe, once you have set the background, what we can do is we can open the forum for questions, because I think a lot of us have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So once you are through with the background, we'll do that.
Yeah. I guess this was more, I just see some comments stating like this is more from the insurance perspective. What is the angle for the service providers as well? Yes. So whatever I was discussing more was from the insurance perspective, because I have been more on that side of the table. But when we look at clients, because for them these are all risk mitigation tools. Farmers actually need this product. If you ask any farmer, they will say that okay, anybody who is into dairying for last a decade or so, he has seen his animals dying and he has seen his income getting affected. So a product is something that everybody agrees to. Yeah, we need this, but how affordable we can make it. Affordability is one of the biggest aspect when it comes to the customer, because when we talk about farmers And right now, because of these high loss ratios, none of the insurance companies are operating at a premium rate less than 5%. 4%, 5% is the average premium rate. So if I talk about a 50,000 animal, sum insured animal, then the premium is above 2,000 rupees. So none of the farmer, that is another important problem when we talk about cattle insurance. I have 5 animals. And if it is not loan linked or anything, if I want to insure those 5 animals, I need to pay 10,000 rupees. That's a huge sum for me. So if somebody is talking to me regarding insurance, I will tell that let me insure at least 1 or 2 animal right now, and trust I will take care later, because I don't have that much money. तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मेरे को जो 2 high risk animal लग रहा है उसी को मैं टैग करने के लिए बोलूंगा. Because the other 2, because that is how everybody will think. So ultimately, whenever we are going and doing some marketing or anything in the field, हम किसी को अगर कन्विंस करते हैं तब भी हमें जो मिलने वाला है that is going to be the highest.
Oh, तो उसमें तो best Bala, what I've seen also happens is that they will insure one animal, and even if other person, I mean the other cattle dies, वो tag निकाल के उसको लगा देंगे.
वो तो that अभी तो नहीं हो रहा है. I would say that was there in the market, but now at least private players are ensuring that we do 100% verification at the time of death. किसी को बेचते हैं, check करते हैं, verify करते हैं, and those things can be plugged to an extent. If nobody is going to the field, then definitely we are giving them scope or to do something or the other. Like हम weather insurance में पहले बोलते थे ना, वो weather station में जाके बाल्टी में पानी डालते हैं. Likewise, the same thing happens here as well. People are smart, so we'll have to find ways and means to plug those gaps. Muscle reading is one way. But again 100% I would say correlation अभी तक लेके नहीं आ पाया है, but people have reached 99% credibility in muscle reading wherein they are able to identify the animal. So अगर muscle का reading death के time पे और onboarding के time पे अच्छी खासा ले सकता है, then it is but good. But again coming to muscle reading, I haven't find any app wherein it can be easily taken, because मैं खुद use किया हूँ. Guide teach से it will not stable, it will get distracted, तो उस time पे focus करके muscle read करना it's not easy. But now more technology is coming up. I guess these are technological things that can be solved, because 10 minute का video निकालते हैं muscle का, and they capture around 300 images, and out of that 300 images we will get 2-3 which are out in focus. So all those things are coming up. So yeah, there are ways and means of addressing those things. बात करना है तो लेंथ में बात करते हैं, but I guess we can get into specific questions, and
yeah, let's
answer that will give much clarity to everyone.
Yeah, we will ask Nishant. He has raised his hand. Nishant, please ask your question. Nishant, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Nishant.
Yeah, hi, good morning, sir. Sir, I had a couple of specific questions. Like you talked about agency problem from the part of veterinaries and adverse selection from the part of farmers. So has there been any experiment in any region specific or any district for universal coverage of cattle? And if it hasn't been done, and then can it be done by government on pilot basis to study? And what would be the impact of it in your opinion?
So what I came to know is that recently the ministry has done one meeting. They have called all insurance companies and all stakeholders who are working in this segment, trying to replicate something similar to PMFBY with subsidy, because this will run only with subsidy. Because subsidy के बिना affordability point, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to bring it. But yeah, subsidy के साथ, and Pashu Aadhar is something that government initiated initially, but that I don't think that has gone beyond Gujarat. But that is a very unique concept which, if can be implemented, brings in a unique identification for each and every animal, and that is the biggest challenge that we all are facing with. We can't identify an animal. If there is a tagging and if there is a unique identification number to each and every animal like our Aadhar, then that brings in a lot of credibility to do such mass schemes. Because if I am talking about mass schemes, then we cannot do it without, it has to be done without inspection. जाके घर में एक animal को inspect करके हम mass scheme कर नहीं पाएंगे. So if you are talking about mass scheme, then I would suggest it has to be done through a means of ensuring every animal in that region, irrespective of the health, that is brings in the volumes. But yeah, there needs to be some background identification tool like Pashu Aadhar, ऐसा कुछ आएगा तो then उसके बाद वो सोच सकते हैं. Otherwise, subsidy can be brought in. We can insure the available animals, but it has to be done in the way it is right now. मतलब जाके inspect करके ही करना पड़ेगा. That will take a lot of time. So scalability लेके आना मुश्किल है, as per my understanding.
Okay.
So follow-up question to it, Richi ma'am, if you may allow.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So sir, इसके तो in that universal coverage आपके मतलब if you can guess premium rates would go down drastically, right? Since there would be a lot of agency problem, the adverse selection will be rooted out, especially with the animal identification tool like animal Aadhaar.
So yeah, obviously वो insurance is all about volume game. मतलब बड़ा सा volume आएगा तो definitely वो risk spread हो जाएंगे. We'll be able to reduce the rate. But if you ask any of the insurance companies right now, because of the adverse experience that they had with this product, nobody will come up and say that okay, अभी 4% चल रहा है, let us do it to 2%. So that is something that as an industry needs to gain a confidence a bit more on this product and then come up with certain systems which can plug these gaps, and वो confidence धीरे धीरे build होगा तब premium rate कम होगा. Otherwise खाली volume से premium rate कम होगा बोलेगा तो I don't know how far that.
Voilà.
Please.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. In fact, if you see, all the state livestock development schemes which are going on, no scheme is running at below 3.25%, and still bleeding to net. So this is for sure. Even and that comes with a volume. 2 lakh animals, 3 lakh animals, something like this minimum. So, we have, trends with us, we have precedents with us that even the cattle are, came in masses, the premium rate is not going to be on a very lower side. And perhaps this is the reason that, this Pradhan Mantri Pashu Dhan Bima Yojana was about to unveil, roughly 3 years back. But government want to fix the farmer premium rate at 1%. This was the major issue that no insurance company could agree to, farmer premium rate at 1%. Rest could have been subsidy, but then they were keeping a restriction of around 3% of premium in a premium rate. So that is also one of the reasons that we have not been able to see a mass program like PMFBY in cattle insurance. But let us see, things are again heating up at Government of India level. So we are expecting anything, let us say next 3 to 6 months, something will come again.
Okay. Can we have Hitesh please share your question?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, all. Sir, my question is that in foreign countries, I think they are using the BCG, like body score conditioning, for insuring the cattle. Can we use the same conditions in here also? In ICC Lombard, we are actually using RFID for tagging cattle. So I think that condition of like that thing that tagging of cattle and malpractices has been reduced drastically because of that. That is one thing, and that is one thing. And the farm practices, sir, I think farm practices is very important in rearing cattle. We have seen that if any state, any block is having particular condition, particular way of farm management, then the LR is from those regions is very low, whereas in other places it's quite high. So can we consider something in our insurance policy that particular kind of farm practices that we need to follow and that we will implement in while insuring the cattle? I think in that way we can reduce the LR and will make more we'll go in that direction that will So
I got your question. So I will just share my thoughts. It's a very good angle, very good thought to have certain best practices in place which can actually help us reduce the LR or reduce the claims. Like हम health insurance में बोलते हैं ना, by Fitbit पहनो आप आज 10,000 steps करो, then if you continue doing 10,000 steps, you will get 20% discount in your next health renewal, which is giving you an incentive to do something good, which will keep yourself healthy so that the claims will reduce. But the important aspect to see here, if you compare India with Western countries, there the entire farming practice is different because they have huge farms. When I talk about New Zealand or as Australia, something like that, I interacted with somebody to do something there. So he's saying my farm is 1,500 to 2,000 hectares wala farm hai mera. It's an entirely fenced area where all my animals just roam around. And they have a specific record of data because it's very well managed. अगर एक animal का birth होता है, then in immediately 24 hours के अंदर उसका registration होना जरूरी है in an online portal, which gives a lot of data set. And India, the biggest problem with insurance companies is that we lack historical data, and historical data for cattle insurance तो भूल ही जाओ, मतलब खास कुछ है ही नहीं, because in insurance we need some model to be developed based on certain assumptions, certain data that we have, which is not there in cattle. And also the cattle rearing aspect, as I said, is entirely different in India. It is the farmers, वो एक farmer मैं अपने हिसाब से cattle को संभालता हूँ, दूसरा अपने हिसाब से संभालता है. If we try to bring in something as a best practice, very good, but I don't know how far that will be easy to implement. Coming back to the RFID point, I will just touch a bit on RFID as well. RFID is a very good tool wherein we can actually ensure that there is no malpractice happening. But how cost effective it is a question to be asked. Plastic tag मेरे को 10 रुपए में मिलता है, RFID tag मेरे को 60 rupees में मिलता है. That is not only that part. I need to have an RFID reader with all my team on the ground to read this. तो उसका cost अलग होता है. So I need to have a costing on that as well. So that is just identifies the animal with that. But if I can do the identification with a plastic tag and a photo, I guess we can maybe do it in a better cost-effective way. But yeah, that is the foolproof way. But yes, it involves a lot of cost. But and again, will we be able to do a scalable product with that kind of costing involved? And again, the affordability aspect comes into play. So I don't know. That's a balance that we need to bring in, which might be difficult.
But I think for the first part, irrespective of the farm management, we have been able to see less mortality with small farmers. Those who have lesser number of animals have lesser mortality. Let us say 4 or 5 cattle. People do not allow their cattle to die very easily, very frankly. However, irrespective of how a large dairy farm is managed in India, you will not see lower mortality there. That is primarily because of the riskier breed that they are breeding. Actually, they are having, and not because of the field management, not because of the farm management. Of course, all the automatic plants who are keeping 2,000 cattle, 4,000 cattle, they have all the veterinary help available, at the 24 hours. But still, we are seeing larger mortality in those plants because they are rearing the very exotic breed. Not even
है ना यार, सबसे सस्ता इनपुट दे दो, सबसे सस्ता मतलब सबसे ज्यादा आउटपुट चाहिए. So it's all about rearing something which might not be.
No, the cattle is not able to adjust to the Indian environment. If you are having, absolutely exotic animals, they are not able to adjust to the Indian environment. Hybrids are still coping up if you give them enough cooling mechanisms and all. But still, they are prone to diseases. So yes, for the group, if you want to initiate cattle insurance, which will be a win-win-win situation for everyone, I think the indigenous cattle, if not indigenous, then a lower level of hybridization, the cattle with low level of hybridization, and with when the risk is scattered across a larger area, I think that may prove to be a win-win-win situation for everyone.
Okay. I think Neeraj sir had a question. Neeraj sir, are you there? Sir, we can't hear you.
We are not audible. And meanwhile, for the information of the audience, Umesh is also my batchmate, again a dairy technologist, doing.
Yeah, Umesh, apology. I should have put your name also, Umesh. Sincere apology. You're on mute, Umesh.
Bala, I hope I am not encouraging your space here.
अरे यार क्या है
No, no.
यार मैं तो
I'm sorry.
यही बोल रहा था यार थोड़ा फॉर्मलाइज कर दिया आपने हम तो एक छोटा इंटरेक्टिव सेशन प्लान करते थे
नहीं तो
Yeah.
इंटरैक्टिव ही है ना.
नहीं नहीं कोई बात नहीं it's okay It's good to
Umesh,
have
sorry,
you.
I will put your name also.
Not an issue, not an issue. But since we do cattle and we are the practitioner of cattle and agriculture insurance in India, we just can't stop myself. That's it.
नहीं, thank you so much. Thank you. Neeraj sir, are you on? Still cannot hear you, Neeraj sir. We'll take the next question. Maybe you can try to rejoin, sir. Okay. Ranjan. Okay. Sanjeev Jain. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Currently, I am working in DSG department only, Department of Husbandry and Dairy. Deputed from EY. Right. So I am looking after that broking mission. I just wanted to have some few information because we are doing this year cattle census. Already inviting the people for doing cattle census. It happens every 5 years. Hello.
Yes
So do we have any data? What is the percentage of like the stock the cattle get insured every year? So that like Tata say 30 crore animals are there, maybe buffalo and cows, and after that your cows are bleedable, the milk. What percentage of that would be insured? Any idea on that?
so don't have any actual data nobody has published any data in terms of this is the total number of animals
Okay.
and this is the total number insured but various researchers or various published material shows that it is less than 1% of the total population is just insured
So we put it in the cattle census this thing then this year.
Yeah.
Secondly, that we told about the Pasu Aadhaar. Department is already working on that. We have invited few tenders of that also. Pasu Aadhaar department is very serious on that.
yeah that will actually help the insurance companies a lot in terms of getting the identification done because that is an important aspect that we all struggle with as of now
Yeah, thirdly, what we call it that the currently cattle insurance is being done by the paramed or veterinary services we're providing like Bitcoin, AI, and API. The data is available lots on that through NDTP website. You must have gone through the NAIP data. We track AI and vaccination, which department gives free of cost to all animals. That's how it is. Okay, so my query was in insurance that if you involve some mass scale kind of drive in department, which will really help.
Department drive just to ensure I don't know how far that will because as Umesh was also highlighting there should be participants to insure no so the insurance company should come forward at a certain agreed rate to do the insurance for that we need certain parameters to be taken care of which is currently is a bottleneck for all of us because none of the insurance companies are making profit from this product that is for sure and why should
The
some
volume is not there. No, volume is not there.
हाँ वो वॉल्यूम छोटे वॉल्यूम से ही लॉस हो रहा है तो बड़े वॉल्यूम लेने का कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा किसी के साथ दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम
All right. Maybe we can move on to Neeraj sir's.
Sure.
Bala, I think, sorry, I had raised my hand, so
Yeah,
can I
Ranjan
go
sir.
ahead?
Yeah. I thought you were not able to.
So Bala, I guess you know what Sanjeev was. I think Sanjeev. I also I happen to be Sanjeev's batchmate, as also I work with him in UI. So it's not a follow up to the question, but I think the larger question that we have is that with this current immunization drive that's happening in, obviously there's going to be a lot of tagging of animals or recording of animals happening in. Is there a mechanism wherein then these two the tagging of animals or the recording of animals under a data set is to be clubbed, number one, and number two, with all these new discussions and talks that we have been having on saying that under the skin tax, which sort of to an extent takes care of your ear, the problems issue to, related to the ear tax and to the traceability parts that we are talking about. How is it affecting your entire business, and is it making any difference or what? Like,
Okay. So, sir, if you ask me, my personal opinion, identification or issues related to moral hazards is no more a concern, because animal जो die हो रहा है वो सही animal का ही death हो रहा है. At least with my experience, whatever business that I have done in the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't done any government scheme, so I'm barring government scheme and talking about the direct business that an insurance company has done through a banca channel or through a direct business channel that they have done with a milk cooperative or a society or something. There, I haven't come across any malpractices because of identification. As I said, ऐसे रुचि ने भी पहले बोला था दूसरा एनिमल मर गया तो तीसरे को उसका क्लेम कर दिया. ऐसे नहीं होता है अभी, because we do almost 95% of the cases we do a physical verification at the time of death. मेरा बंदा जाता है कोई ना कोई जाके उसका फोटो लेके पहले फोटो के साथ वेरीफाई करते हैं whether it is the right animal or not. So I'm identification. There are a lot of things that are coming up actually, muscle reading, face technology, सब कुछ करके we can identification. I don't think is a bigger challenge going forward. Can be done with a very low cost means. The bigger concern is again, as you were also trying to put out, and I'm also echoing the fact that we don't have any historical data, we don't have any current data of any animal. What is the current health status or what is their ongoing treatment that is given to the animal? India में उसका वो it's not formalized at all. People do their own treatment, people do whatever they want to do through packs or through veterinarians. उसका कोई record नहीं रहता है, nobody keeps a records of that, nobody inputs the data in any of the systems. So the bigger concern, as I said, I would reiterate again, is on onboarding unhealthy risk, or how we can curtail that part will actually help us in reducing the loss ratios a lot to an extent. Because right now we don't have any mechanism in terms of animal identification other than going to that place, checking the animal condition and then onboarding. And that is a process that will take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and there is human intervention. If we can bring in something which can remove all these things and some technology does all these activities, well and good, can actually curtail this to an extent, but those system has to be proven, tested, approved, then brought into the society. People should accept. All those things are there in that aspect as well. But definitely the animal identification through Pashu Aadhaar or a unique number and the data getting incorporated, or if we have a history of or a repository of that information, that itself will help a lot in terms of doing a lot of underwriting.
Okay. I would request everyone to please ask one question at a time so that others also get a chance. Let us move on to Neeraj sir's question. Neeraj sir, can you unmute? Neeraj sir, we still can't hear you. Maybe you can type your question. Till then, I will take up a couple of questions. Bala, I'll read out one or two questions.
I saw one question from Mr. Swaminathan. So
before that, we had a question from Gautam. Can I put this on?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Gautam is saying, Bala, which cattle insurance to buy for dairy company in terms of feasibility and cost if they want to provide this service to their farmers?
So which cattle insurance to buy? If you are talking about company, then I guess there are a lot of companies who are providing this. So the main thing that you will have to look at, because the coverages are almost the same. Every insurance company gives the same coverage. As of now, it's either death only or death plus PKD. These are the only coverage that is available in this industry right now. So if you are talking about which one to buy, then I guess you will have to talk to multiple people. I would always recommend talk to 2 or 3 private players and talk to 2 or 3 public sector players as well. Get their premium rates, because premium rates vary from insurance companies to insurance company. Understand their process, how they are going to onboard. Are they bringing in any value addition in terms of faster claim settlement? Because that is the important aspect. Because if you are settling the claim after 2 months of the animal death happening, then there is no point in doing that, because the financial stress and the actually farmer needs money soon after the death of the animal. So that is one important aspect that you'll have to keep in mind. There are companies who are settling claims within 7 days, and there are few companies who are settling claims within 2 days as well. So that is one important aspect that you can look at rather than the premium, I would say, because premium might vary from किसी कोई ने 4% बोलेगा, कोई 4.5 बोलेगा, कोई 5% बोलेगा. That is the max variation that is going to happen. But I guess you should look at more on the credibility of, say, claims, because that is an important aspect. People can keep the claims on hold, or they can delay the claims through multiple reasons. And those things has to be agreed, and what are the documents that you require for claims, and what is the process time that you will follow. It has to be very clearly documented, and that should be the decision point, is what I can recommend.
Okay, Bala, you can take the next question. It is on the chat only.
Yeah. So the numbers with regard to percentage of claims and percentage settled. So again, as I said, most of the insurance players are operating above 100% loss ratio for this product. That is one aspect. I guess percentage claims and percentage settled are more or less very clear from the private sector perspective, because that is something that I know where I can comment. Public sector, I don't have much idea about the data or how they follow. But private sector, I guess they hardly reject any claim, because cattle, there is nothing to be checked. The only thing that needs to be checked is that whether there is any fraudulent activity involved in this. Otherwise, all deaths are covered. If it is because of disease or if it is because of accident, death is death, which needs to be covered. So the only thing we keep to monitor is that whether we have the documents in place, whether the person, if a person has gone and identified the carcass, whether he has identified the right animal or not. And after that, normally private players doesn't keep the claims on hold. Public sector, sorry sir, I will not be able to comment because I don't have much information on that. In terms of percentage claims and percentage settled. But what I know is that they still follow the conventional process where all these documents and everything has to be couriered, and all those things takes its own sweet time, and they settle the claim. They still settle the claim, but it takes a bit of time. That is something that I know. But private players are much faster in terms of claim settlement, because most of them use the mobile app now, which is an onboarding tool for animal identification as well as claim settlement. Happy to share that we designed that way back in 2015 in HDFC Ergo for the first time. Then a lot of people have started using that. I presented it as a innovation concept in an agri seminar organized by Sri, a national level seminar. मैंने सोचा था एक छोटा सा information है mobile app के through सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. So that is how we introduced that cattle mobile based enrollment for cattle in that conference, and yeah, कुछ 25,000 का prize money दिया था. After that, my company implemented that program, and now a lot of people are using that. So good to see that. Yeah, that was more on the innovation.
Neeraj sir, are you able to unmute now?
Am I audible now?
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
Okay, finally. Okay, Bala, 2-3 things. One, you were talking about Pashu Aadhaar. Now, Pashu Aadhaar is already live, right? It is actually an app or an entire system developed by NEDB.
Yes.
It was almost more than a decade old now. It was initially named Enough Information Network for Animal Productivity and Health. Currently, it has close to more than 26 crore animal registered. Even if you take historic number and deaths and all, so even, again, an estimated 15 crore live animals would still be there in the database. And NEDB, with the help of, this typically NAIP program, where it is now mandatory for all government officials to use this for all vaccination. So tagging is must. So day by day, you're adding more and more numbers to it.
Right.
So it's now practically real. Part 1. Part 2, NEDB, with the help of TCS, is building a version 2 of it, where they are say again, there's entire what is called as NDLM, National Digital Livestock Mission. With the help of a department, it's being redone in an entirely different way, where now they are saying we will provide APIs also for everybody else to connect. How it actually happened is still to be seen, but intent is there.
Yeah.
Which was never there earlier. It was a closed system.
Right.
Now, I know it pretty well because I managed it for more than 7-8 years.
Great.
Okay. And released a big enhanced version also in my previous work on it. As far as health record data, you're asking too much. Forget health record.
नहीं सर, वो हमारा ही नहीं है, अपना हेल्थ रिकॉर्ड कहाँ से मिलेगा? तो बुलाएगा तो थोड़ा दूर की बात है.
Even breeding records is difficult. Whatever breeding records are available, they are available simply because of their necessity for conducting breeding programs, for getting right quality semen, or essentially identification of a right pole. So whatever breeding records are available, it's available only for that purpose. Because that's where you're enforcing breeding, record keeping. Otherwise, there is no records available. Okay. Third, we talked about RFID. We experimented in Banas almost pretty long ago. It's painful. Doesn't help. And you have too much of a cost.
Right, sir.
Sir, you are giving all problems. Give us some solution also, na?
I'll come to that. Okay. So if you look at all this, what do you call it, RFID, muzzle print or what? There's only one thing which you are doing. You are defining a identification of animal, that's all. So if all these technologies are solving only a single issue, which is identification, what is wrong with a simple plastic tag, which we are currently using? It's simple, easily visible, extremely cost effective, right? So why can't we simply continue with it? Now, if you look at, you will say the only issue which happens in this is when they say you lose the tag. But look at the numbers, the number of tags which are lost are, not even 1%. So I don't think we need to look at some other solution. And with NDDB opening up its database for an API, obviously initially it will be limited to government agencies and appropriately it may go to a right kind of agencies. So we have a very big, opportunity to use this database. Second thing, we were talking about managing risk of onboarding unhealthy animals. Now, and somebody mentioned about BCS, body condition scorings also. Body condition scoring is a extremely critical, but not a simple method. And it is highly subjective. If two veterinary doctors score a particular same cattle, you can get a different scores. Dwara has done an app on this where they claim they have a thing. I am yet to see a large scale implementation of it, and I am yet to see a good results. Frankly speaking, I tried on few animals. The kind of score which I got is not worth reporting.
I know, sir. मैंने खुद use किया है. Yes.
So, but it's unfair to brand only because of 2 samples at my end that app is bad. But
yeah.
Or obviously this is a dated also. I have not retried it again. But definitely there are scopes available where we can improve that. So if we work on developing what we call a body condition scoring model based on a mobile app, things can take a much better shape.
Sir, Akshata has also developed a muzzle reading AI-based application. Akshata, are you there?
See, Nitin,
Muzzle reading to both.
Yeah.
What you are doing, you're identifying, right? That's all. You identify with a tag, with a RFID tag, with a subcutaneous tag, with a muzzle print, with a face of a cattle. Doesn't make a difference. You're simply identifying. What next?
Yeah.
Now, his problem.
Yes, sir. So
sector's problem is not
this discussion
is the next level of problem.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, Akshita, please.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me? Yeah. So this discussion has been very useful. So the idea is that because we are building identity, which is muzzle, what next is the animal digitization database that we have to work on. Basically, it's a business model that we are exploring right now.
Okay.
Neeraj sir, I will get in touch with you because body score index is something that I am working on right now. My next project is on that, digitizing
Sure.
body score index. So I guess there's a lot of value that we can add to that.
Definitely. This is something if you are able to develop, it's not only about insurance.
Yeah.
We can entirely revolutionize the way cattle are traded in the country.
Correct.
You do not have a reliable measure of a quality of a cattle.
Right.
It is entirely based on trust. And therefore all sorts of practices happen in between.
Got it.
So if
Next week.
you are able to do this, nothing like it. Well, you know, you are on building something, a gold mine,
Right.
which actually helps a lot. Obviously,
Bala, we
it
are
requires-
in this with you, your gold mine, huh?
So next week I'm having a full day workshop with 10 veterinary doctors to design this, to get the logics and all those things in place. I know it is not that easy, but yeah, it's not
Bala,
that.
if you want, I can join.
Yeah, sure, sir. That's what I thought. Like I will get in touch with you.
Sure, definitely. Got it.
Okay, I think Swami Nathan has another question. Swami, would you want to share?
Yeah, I think Bala and also Umesh and maybe Neeraj sir also. So far we have talked about cattle insurance. I would also like to understand what is the situation with regard to insurance for other livestock, for goat rearing, for sheep rearing, for poultry and piggery and other sectors, subsectors.
What is sir? When I goat ka little I can share. I have done that a bit when I was in SBA because none of the other insurance companies I don't think does sheep and goat because whenever we hear sheep and goat, underwriter gives it a straightforward no from the day one because they have done something and they have actually made losses out of it, so they want to stay away from that. But I still tried that with in Maharashtra for Ahmednagar because Maharashtra is known for goat and sheep rearing. I tried that again, but during monsoon when the rains hit, there was huge depth of sheep and goat because when it dies in large volumes. That is what I have seen. So again, we had to end up paying double and triple than what we have collected as premium. So again, we also did say no to sheep and goat after that. So again, I don't know how to solve that puzzle because unlike cattle, sheep and goat, what I felt when before doing that, I felt was that they are more stable. They don't die as much as the mortality rate is much lower. But when it hits badly, and that is the same case with poultry. If one in one particular cage, if something happens, then the entire load gets damaged. So that is the problem with sheep and goat. That is why I don't think people are not keen towards that segment. Obviously, private players are not getting into that. Public sectors might do that, but I don't see that much of focus in that sector as of now. That is because of the mortality rates. But yes, sir, as same in cattle, I guess we'll have to do some analysis and see where we can plug that gap and do something different.
Thank you.
Okay, Sanjeev sir, you have another question. Would you like to share? Sanjeev sir, you have raised your hand. Okay.
No, I'm hearing it that the departments probably work out something.
I will add one more aspect which I tried last month with a new product concept for heat index in cattle dairy insurance. So what we did was a product that could give a claims to the farmer when there is higher heat load or heat stress, because during summer the productivity reduces by at least 30%, and we have a product which can reduce the financial loss to the farmer, because daily it is 1 liter or a 2 liter loss per day for a cow. So it's almost 100 rupees loss of financial loss. And when temperature goes beyond the normal for X number of days, we can have a product which releases payouts to the farmer. We have done that product with 2 entities right now, one with Milma in Kerala. We did around 15,000 farmers enrolled in that in just 3 days. And the heat wave in Kerala was pretty bad this time. Of 10 lakh premium that they have given, there is around 26-27 lakhs of claims going as of now. So I guess farmers could be quite happy. Insurance company might not, but next year that's going to be a good product line for the farmers to look upon. The second product that we did was with a dairy tech startup in Bangalore. They have also enrolled around 6,800 farmers for this product. just 100 rupee per animal is the cost for 2 months. We can insure up to 3,000 rupees of sum insured. And if temperature goes beyond certain limit for X number of days, then they will start getting the payout. So it's pretty simple. And farmers can relate to that. That is how we were able to enroll a lot of farmers into this program, because everybody knows this problem. In summer, the production, there is loss of milk production, and their input cost remains the same. Or in fact, they have to put more effort. They will have to give more water. They will have to put more efforts, and their output goes down. So that is something new that we have done. And I guess
this is with Stellabs, huh?
Yeah, this was with Stellabs as well as Milma. Yeah, these are the two products. Two entities that we have.
But Bala, considering that we are not able to do cattle insurance itself, like the life insurance per se, heat insurance, like kind of heat stress.
It's much easier because we don't need any identification of the animal for this. We just need the number of animals, and there is no individual claims that the farmer has to claim. When the temperature goes about that, breaches that mark, everybody gets the claim. So it's much administratively much easier to implement. And since it is affordable, it's just 100 rupees or 80 rupees per animal, and it is deducted from their milk collection records. They said yes whenever they hear this. So, and they know they can relate to this problem. That is, I guess that is the most
difference is clear. No, this is income loss, that is asset loss.
Okay.
This is a pretty difficult product from an insurance company perspective. Yeah. So, estimating the right level of temperatures, and you are actually carrying too much of a risk.
Yeah, it's been done based upon last 40 years data analysis only, sir. Maybe this year the heat index, because of the El Nino and all those effects, the heat wave is quite aggressive. So they might get the claim. Next year they might not. So
correct.
The product will not be like that. Every year they will get the claim.
So if next year they do not get the claim, so in the third year they may not enroll.
Yeah.
So it's become a cycle: enrollment, non-enrollment, enrollment, non-enrollment, and all said and done, the accuracy or the suddenness of the kind of weather changes which we are noticing in the last few years is wild.
Yep.
It's becoming more and more unpredicted. Unless we have a much big improvement in our weather production models, we'll still have too much of a risk in this case.
Okay, I think Hitesh, you have another question.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to give you input, sir. Sir, in this case, for a heat index product, sir, there is already been in the summer time, if temperatures will not been increased for then also the cycle of lactation cycle of cattle is something like that. In the summer time, their milk will go down. If you consider HF breed, then they used to lact in the month of January and December. And by the month of February, March and April, their lactation has already been down. So is that calculation has been done in this product? Because in summertime, if you will not change the temperature also, temperature will be same, then productivity will going to be down. That's why there's a lean season and this kind of season in the cooperative.
That is there, Hitesh. What I'm trying to put forward is that normal scenario, farmer knows how to manage. It is there. There is a reduction. But if there is an abnormal high heat, which goes further reduction in milk yield, can be compensated. So that is the concept. So we cannot anyway. That is a lean period is there. Everybody understands that. Yeah. But extreme heat is something that we could cover.
Sir, one more point, sir. As Neeraj sir has already been said, there is already been lot of data is available to us from NDDB and other government sites. And I also seen the personally. I've been in Indore. So when any veterinary visit to the cattle farm, they must have some kind of target is available. They used to tag the cattle in the ear tagging, and they give particular identification to that cattle. And if you go and check that number on the government site, you will get the data, that age of the cattle and this is the milk production of the cattle. And this kind of practice they follow. If they come to the farmer house for AI also, they used to tag the cattle. So there is a lot of data available to us, sir. But I think there is some kind of dislinkage between the private firm and the government of companies. We're not getting access to that data, and we are not using. They're just following the same kind of practices that we used to do. And I think it's because of that there's a lot of gap in the cattle insurance.
To an extent. And tagging करने की जरूरत नहीं है. अभी 99% of the animals are already tagged. So because most of the insurance companies are now allowing that if that is already tagged, then they will use the same tag number for their insurance as well. They don't need to tag it again. and 99% of the animals are more or less tagged now. So tagging is not anymore an activity, but yeah, the identification and the health certification is a mandatory requirement as per most of the insurance companies' product filing. So since it is there a part of product filing, then they have to follow that. That is where the veterinary and certification and identification, all those things comes into play. So or else we'll have to find a ways how to change that entire product dynamics as such. So if an AI tool can certify the animal, well and good, but yeah, that's the future.
Okay. Anyone has any other questions? We are almost
Yeah.
nearing an hour of discussion. Yes, sir.
Just to supplement the Hitesh, if you go to enough website, enough.nedb.co, you can find out details of a cattle by putting in the tag number. It is registered in enough Hitesh. It is publicly available. But you will not get data in a bulk, but for a given single cattle, you can get it. And in fact, there is an SMS channel also where you can get this data by sending an SMS. You can check the details on NEDB's enough website.
Okay, that's great. Any other questions? Anyone? I think we have Mohan with us. Mohan, thank you so much for joining in our discussion today. We are so happy to have you. Please, would you like to share some remarks on the session? You have been in the finance domain for so long.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bala. Thank you, Richie, for organizing this wonderful session. And very good that these kind of learning sessions are finding a little bit of attendance. We had around 30 or 34, 35 people attending. Thanks to all of you for coming over and listening to Bala. Thank you, Bala, for this wonderful session, and Neeraj for all the add-ons and the information on NTDB. I think most important thing, all I have to say is more general, is that the younger generation of IRMANs who are in the field will find these kind of things very useful. This is also available on YouTube. You could also refer anything that you need either to the IAA or directly to Bala, Neeraj, and all of them. And we would also try to facilitate interactions further as we move on. Yeah, the only thing which I wanted to tell about this thing is that there is a lot of stress that the dairy farmers go through. And the moment they are linked to farm loans, then the stress becomes very serious. But at the same time, the kind of coverage, the insurance coverage that is there is not adequate. Adequate in the sense that we don't get enough insurance coming in. And one of the reasons for this claims ratio going up is because we do not have enough animals being insured. So the smoothing of the curve doesn't happen. And there is a peaking wherever an attempt happens, there is an abhiyan to get cattle insured. So that's something which we all need to work on. I think that's an area moving forward for IRMANs in the finance sector also to look at.
Okay.
So anyway, I hope that this kind of thing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Mohan. Bala, Neeraj sir, Umesh, any closing remarks you want to share? Anything?
The only thing is, this is an area where if we actually come together and develop a small, tech-enabled solution, it can save and it can help a sector a lot, because that is something which is missing. And specifically, for a small farmer, loss of a cattle is a huge loss. It's a huge, you can't imagine the kind of loss and the kind of impact this has for a small farmer, which are a majority of people in our country. So if we all come together and do a small thing about it, which eases them, I think that would be a worthwhile contribution for our lives.
I would also like to
Yeah.
point out that we have Selvarajan sir with us. Selvarajan sir, we would like to know your thoughts also on the subject. You are very experienced in this domain. Selvarajan sir, are you there with us? Selvarajan sir. Okay. Okay, then. If there are no further questions, I would like to thank everyone for joining in, and thank you, Bala, Umesh, Neeraj sir. Neeraj sir, are you talking to Selvarajan sir? Okay, all right. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining in. It was an absolute wonderful session. We really enjoyed learning new things, and I'm sure we would find mutual synergies. A lot of us will interact with each other. If you need any contacts, any numbers of each other, you can reach out to me. I have numbers of some of these experienced professionals who are here sharing all their knowledge. And we'll see you again in the next session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Done. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.